Damas y caballeros, préndanle y súbanle a la radio. Niños y niñas, por favor, váyanse a dormir porque The Juan Hour Show está por comenzar. Con ustedes, el hombre más conocido en el bajo mundo de Tacoma, el más buscado en 17 estados y 22 cortes, el ajonjolí de todos los moles, el hombre detrás del volante, The Metal. Así que prepárense para una hora informativa, pero también divertida de el show de The Juan Hour Show. Con ustedes, Juan José Chavez.
Hola, muy buenas noches. Aquí estamos otra vez. We're here one more time. Welcome to the Juan Hour Show. We have a special guest tonight. And again, we are very lucky to have these guests here with us tonight. I'm going to let them introduce themselves because, oh my God, they got so much from so many accolades. Aquí estamos ahora en la noche con el One Hour Show otra vez. Les quiero introducir a mis guests que están aquí. Ellos van a introducirse en inglés, lo vamos a transitar, o tú en español si quieres también.
Como quieras.
Y vamos a hablar ahora de unas cosas que la ciudad va a hacer para prepararnos porque estamos trabajando en policies de inmigración y cosas que nos puede afectar. También va a haber mucha información que le tienen que poner atención. Si hay preguntas, le pueden preguntar a la estación o a Olgy Diaz, ¿verdad? Olgy Diaz, ok. ¿Quién eres? Bueno, ¿cómo estás?
Bueno, buenas noches a todos escuchando hoy. Me llamo Olgy Diaz, soy council member de la ciudad de Tacoma, represento toda la ciudad, soy, como se dice, at large council member. Y he estado en esta posición hace 3 años ya. Me apoyaron, me appointed.
Sí, apoyaron.
Yeah, me apoyaron el agosto de 2022. Y corrí para la posición permanente el año siguiente y ahora ya estoy en mi segundo año de mi termo. Yeah.
Okay. So let's like to do it in English.
Yeah,
because
sure.
This is a Spanglish show. So
okay.
people that watch my show for a while, they know we go back and forth.
There you go.
There you go. See.
So my name. Well, you also know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm Olgy Diaz. I represent the city of Tacoma in the at-large position. I got appointed back in 2022, and I ran for the election in 2023, and so now I'm about halfway through my first term.
Wow.
And I think the exciting thing is the last time I got to be on V2 radio is when I was first appointed, because I'm the first Latina to serve on our city council.
Exactly, and
so it's really an honor.
It's an honor for me to interview her. She's basically made history, and not only are you the first woman, but also an LGBTQ person, which is very important to represent too. And to me, having a transgender son is very important.
Yeah.
And we have.
Oh, me llamo Sandesh Sadalge.
Oh,
okay. About the most amount of Spanish I'm going to be able to do.
Good. You did great.
And so I'm the current council member for District 4 in the city of Tacoma. That is the east side, Lincoln District area. And like my colleague, Councilmember Diaz here, I was appointed last year, July of 2024. I ran my first campaign and I won. So I have 4 more years. And I am the first person of South Asian descent and also born in South Asia, because I was born in India, to ever be on Tacoma City Council. And I think it is an honor and privilege not only to represent the people of my district, but to serve alongside my colleague, Councilmember Diaz here.
Yeah, and so it is both. I got history makers here. It's unbelievable how diversified that board has come in, and to have people, you guys be selected and elected. That's a big step. So you guys are twins in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just to kind of ask a little questions about yourselves. We're going to talk a little bit about them. Vamos a hablar un poquito de ellos para que sepan quién son. Si estás viendo este programa por la primera vez, if you're watching this show for the first time, we're going to just focus on them a little bit, even though they just introduced themselves. So since you since you have been selected and reelected, what's some of the things that you could say that you've learned that has like changed your whole aspect of what you're doing? And actually that goes for both of you, but you can take some turns, like what's like some of the biggest things that, let's say, somebody who's inspired to run would like look forward to?
I think las cosas más pertenencias que me vienen a la cabeza primero son que no todo lo que se ve en línea o lo que se ve en el periódico son la realidad. A lot of it is not all that you read or see online is exactly how it works behind the scenes. So when you actually get into the seat, you learn a lot more about how it works, what the legal challenges are, and kind of where your lanes are. And I think we've seen the most of that really happen now that the Trump administration is in.
Oh my God, yes.
And so my first couple years were very different than now we're fighting them.
Oh, okay.
Tooth and nail.
Okay. You're working a lot well also with the state then, I'm assuming. Okay. Sadalge?
What I have learned, again, like Councilmember Diaz says here, what you actually do is very different. But what I've learned is, individually, we don't have a great deal of actual power, right? We have a lot of authority. We have a lot of influence. We can use that really well in community. But the power is in us as a whole entity, as a board. And that really requires us to work together to get things forward. And having the experiences that we have helps to, push these priorities forward. And it really just comes down to working together, listening to everybody. We'll listen to everyone. We can't always agree with everybody, but we'll listen to everyone.
Yeah. I don't think you're elected to agree with everybody.
No.
And
you're elected to lead.
I agree with her. There was a difference. I was a council member for 6 months before Trump got elected, and even for me, there was a big difference in how we govern. Exactly. Because whether you agree with it or not, one of the points of what this administration wants to do is break some of these systems and sow chaos and turbulence, and we have to deal with that.
Yeah. Well, as you know, the greatest line about divide and conquer, and I think that's what's happening in this country right now.
Absolutely.
And and with that being said, I think this is a time where people have to, like you said, rely on community. I feel that if you don't listen to your surroundings as a council people, because you could have great advice if you find it. If whoever looks for it finds it, So to me, that's a great step. But I do also have some questions. People are watching, and then I also have a couple. What I like to do is I had a couple of kind of questions that we kind of here at the station. I work with Wendy Pantojas. I want to give her the advice on these questions. Wendy Pantojas has worked a lot with organizations and down at the immigration, and she's very involved. And so what I'm gonna say, let's see. The governor made some regulations regarding the subcontractors that pretty much are like for hire. They're not really U.S. People, and they're wearing masks and they're tormenting people, and but they don't identify themselves. And I don't know if that's what you're working on, what you want to get into, or is there a way we could is that just answer that question generally? What do you guys think? I mean, at this point, or does that involve keep talking about what we're going to talk about?
Well, we can get into that, but I will just start and say we've been looking into the research around how we can, as a city, ban, frankly, these mercenaries from wearing masks that cover up who they are. We can't identify them on cameras or when, as community members who we know.
Just stealing people.
They could be anybody, or we could have imposters coming in and pretending to be them and kidnapping people or kids. We don't know. So we've been researching some policies to try to see what we as a city can do to ban that. There's a lot of rules around how much cities are allowed to police the federal agents. And so that's where some of our lawyers are sort of giving us some pushback, but a couple of other cities have banned masks or required identification, so we're trying to see with legal how we can get there, but we've done a lot of other protections that we could get into, unless you want to come back to that.
No, I mean, like I said, I was just going to ask a little question, but if we're going to ask a couple questions, and then we're going to get to the full what you guys are really like here. So, let me see. This week we saw there was some people got taken at Home Depot. It was within the last 48 hours. ¿Qué soporte pueden los legisladores tener estas personas? So what even though we're just talking about that could be, but what kind of things is the city doing to work with the ICE to help, make sure that they're legal, they're taking them there?
We'll jump in because we haven't had a chance to chat about this, but I have been talking with the police chief, and we have made sure that flock will not be coming into the city of Tacoma. That's one of the ways that people are getting particularly taken at the Home Depot, because Flock is a company that has cameras that read license plate readers, and they're allowed to be on private properties. So Home Depot's going to have them no matter what. The community needs to know that. They're big supporters of that. But different police departments in Washington have been using the technology as well. The city of Tacoma has not. We're not going to start using that. But I have that assurance from the police chief so far. But I have been talking with some of our state legislators about what they can do to ban it statewide, so that none of the cities can use that technology, because it's a real problem.
It's original. It's not just Tacoma. It's a regional thing.
So I mean, Ruston has it, Lakewood has it, Pierce County does not, but I think the city of Sumner and different cities are turning it off and on. There's different settings that they can change on the back end so that ICE can't get into there. So the state is looking to how they can regulate around us, but we're taking care of just the home front for now, but we can't get them out of the Home Depots in Tacoma. They're private property. We can't do anything there, so we're a little limited in that, but we've been looking into it.
To me, this is really important information, so vamos a estar en español un poquito. La Wendy preguntó que esta semana unos gente que lo detenieron en Home Depot y los maltrataron muy feos. Se vio en los videos, yo lo vi 3 veces, los estaban aventando contra el carro, al suelo. Entonces, estaba preguntando que qué puede ser la ciudad para ayudar a los detenidos, que los traten bien, que los lleven a detención y todo. Y pues si quieres repetir, perdón, pero...
Sí, ahorita la ciudad no tiene la oportunidad de decirle a Home Depot que no pueden estar usando esas cámaras, pero sí podemos la oportunidad de no dejar que nuestros policías lo usen. So ahorita no dejamos que los Tacoma Police Department lo usen, esa tecnología, pero en el estado estamos mirando qué pueden hacer ahí para averiguar si pueden parar que usen eso en todas las ciudades que que están aquí por Tacoma en Pierce County.
Okay, es muy importante porque también está diciendo ella que por el estado es mejor usarlo como racional aquí en todas las zonas, no nomás de estas ciudades de aquí, que no usen esa información. Pero también dijiste que hay lugares que son privados y ellos lo pueden usar, como el Home Depot.
Claro.
Okay.
Entonces, uno tiene que tener sus... siempre tenemos que tener las pilas, pero en este momento especialmente si saben que hay en el Home Depot, no vayan ahí, mejor vayan a otro lado.
A otro lado, sí, ¿verdad? Okay, bueno.
Can I add to that though? The question really asks, what are we doing as a city to protect immigrants? And I think this is a good way to at least talk about what we started in February and get into the next one. In February, we unanimously on the city council passed a resolution that basically made it the policy of every department, not just the police department, to ensure that we do not voluntarily comply with federal surveillance or registration programs. And some of the work that ICE is doing qualifies. It was important that we made sure every department, not just police. So I want to make it very clear, our police do not work with ICE in these things where they're targeting people based on, color.
Basically profiling.
Which is crazy because the Supreme Court right now is allowing profiling.
But
we're not.
We're not. in Tacoma.
And Sandesh, we work to make sure
and
that
you guys
we're not.
do have that right as a city, though, right?
Yes.
As a city, we said we won't use our city resources to support that. So I want at least the listeners to know we did that, and then we can get into what more we're doing with the newest resolution that we both passed. I am very proud of working with Councilmember Diaz on getting that passed, because that was a really, it wasn't as easy to pass as we thought it was, but we were able to get all our colleagues on to protect people.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. I mean, to me, that shows leadership, because a lot of cities are more operating under the fear of the federal administration. And I think, in my mind, and this is my opinion, not their opinion, is not the city, I think that people who listen to the administration right now out of fear are why things are happening. And I think it's time for people who believe in community, because this is not about benefit. This is about, not personal benefits. It's about our community, so it grows beautiful and supports. I believe that if you work with the community instead of being in a police state, you would have a lot better community.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
exactly.
But again, why don't you guys give us you were talking about February. Do you want to talk about it as policy-wise, what happened in February and what's happening else? We can.
Yeah, I'll start with the February one.
Okay,
In February, we passed. So the state of Washington has been very good at protecting immigrants' rights as we can, and a lot of this has to be done on the state level. And the Attorney General is doing a lot in that. We discovered that there was a law called Keep Washington Working Act that ensured that state agencies and local police departments would not participate in these types of operations like ICE is doing. What was missing in that was it didn't apply to all your local city departments. We passed a resolution to ensure that all of our city departments, and this includes TPU, Tacoma Public Utilities, is part of the city, right? Like the policy becomes that we will not use our
basically protect
city
information.
resources.
Keep the
It was
information
protecting
local,
information.
Exactly.
So the example I give is
yeah.
Boise, Idaho would go and, they'd say, give me I'm going to make up a name, Jose Hernandez, right? And if there was 500 of them, they were just giving all 500. And in this case, no, you have to have a warrant. You have to give us a real reason why you're looking for this individual.
And normally data that is protected that way, right?
Exactly.
Even if it's not a Hispanic.
And so this
ensures,
that our city workers don't have to, feel like they're going to get in trouble. They can just say, hey, go to the city council is making us do this. So go after them, not us.
Yeah.
Wow, so we did that in February.
Wow, that's grateful thinking. I think that's wonderful.
And then as life kept lifing, Trump started sending troops into different cities like Portland and Chicago. I think North Carolina recently, Baltimore recently. He is sending troops in to protect, quote unquote, their detention centers or their federal buildings. And what we saw at the city of Tacoma is we do have the detention center here in our backyard.
Exactly.
So we said what we don't want to have is them come in and say, oh, well, we're going to see this empty city parking lot here. Let me put all my ICE vans or all my equipment here.
Exactly.
So we added a little piece to the last resolution to say we're going to look into how do we keep ICE out of all of the city properties, the parking lots, and anywhere that they might be able to just start going because it's nighttime when they're setting up. We're going to make sure that we keep them out of those spaces preemptively.
At least the city properties.
Yes.
At least city properties.
Yeah, city-owned property.
They could privately do things.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing thinking, because a lot of people just think of ICE as when they come in the van and leave with the people, but there's so many steps to it.
Yeah.
And talking about thinking, do they have a perdón, mijo,
Fresh.
Okay, fresh off the press. Here, I'll let you hear this because you guys, it's gonna be for you guys. But anyways, what is the city doing about dealing with the detention center itself? I mean, because I know the city, even the health department can't go in there.
Yeah.
Especially there's a lot of human rights violations I'm hearing.
Yes.
especially the people who are citizens who can't just come right out. I don't get that.
Yeah.
And so as you guys kind of any policies, anything?
Can I start this one?
Yeah,
please.
Because this one really annoys me because this is where you have a world in which you have one set of people that follow the rules, us, the city, and us, the state. We're following all the laws, and you have another organization, in my opinion, the federal government, that isn't. Right? It infuriates me to no end that we have not only a private prison, a for-profit prison that is jailing people, and the vast majority of them are not even criminally charged.
And they're not even processed.
I mean, quite frankly, they're hostages.
Exactly.
And it goes to something that's really very core to an idea that even works with people who, there are some people out there who want to say, why don't we round up all the quote-unquote illegal aliens out there? And the reason is, it's, I became a U.S. citizen, I swore on the Constitution, because we have something called rule of law and due process.
Exactly.
And I firmly believe that we are not adhering to rule of law and due process.
And I hate to say this again, but history repeating itself. We already know that in the future, these people or whoever, they're going to be the criminals. So basically, we're allowing criminals to run now. Why, it happened in 1939 all the way to 42 when they bust a lot of Mexicans down. And then remember the Japanese in World War II? I mean, we've seen this.
This country does this to us.
Exactly.
Two big articles came out recently. ProPublica, this administration said no citizens are being taken and deported. 170, at least 170 known actual U.S. citizens have been taken into custody.
And a lot of them were military too.
They said that they're only dealing with criminals. Less than 30%. The New York Times did an article, whole analysis. Less than 30% of the people that are detained have any criminal charges. Less than 5% have any violent felony criminal charges. The vast majority of the criminal charges, I'm putting in air quotes here, is traffic infractions.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say this to you guys, but as we've been kind of spoofed by the Christmas stuff that Donald Trump's doing, as of today, I heard there's a bill coming up where every American has to prove they're American citizenship.
That's crazy.
Can you believe that? First they went after criminals, then they went after general profiling, and now they're talking about every American has to prove their citizenship. So here we go again, 1949 and World War II. What I can't remember. World War II. Same thing. We've seen this in a fashion system, and they say first they were coming for the immigrants, and now they're coming after you. Now, seriously, it just came out. I heard that today, and it really surprised me. I don't know if it's true from my source. I don't want to say it's from my source. I don't want to put the station in problem. Is saying, but they're already talking about having every American prove who they're American by the birth certificate. But anyway, so this is what the question. Okay, all right. Well, so we are probably right at 7:30, so we're halftime. So let's ask you guys. Let's start on that. Why are we here? Why is Juan Jose having you guys talk about these policies tonight? I was excited. I'm glad. This is an exclusive for the 1 hour show. So I really want to thank you guys.
I will just intro, I think, maybe some things that you might want to add. Sandesh and I make up 2 of the 3 that we call our immigrant caucus in the city council.
And thank you so much, you guys.
And so, as a foreign-born person in Sandesh, and I have birthright citizenship here. We are truly under attack by this government, the federal government, and we have banded together.
I feel
exactly.
I'm a citizen, and I'm driving around ducking my head when I see an official car.
And so I know my neighbors,
like.
my friends, everybody who's got different documentation status. It's scary.
It is.
And so I joined before all of this started happening, but I am more excited about the work that we get to do because we have these lived experiences that we're bringing to the work, and we're representing for our families, for our ancestors, for everybody before us, and the kids after us.
Oh yeah, exactly, and that's exactly why we it's our obligation. We don't want our sons to be dealing with worse than what it is already.
But that's why Sandesh wanted to make sure we came here today.
Yeah. Well, thank you. You heard me. I said, you said that voice.
Yeah, you said come back anytime. Yeah. Like I can bring colleagues.
Right now it's a live. We don't have, but it's a podcast. So
it'll be out there.
It'll be out there, so you guys can share it. Mm-hmm. So good. You're the caucus of the minority within our board here in Tacoma. Mm-hmm. I just want to say I'm proud for you. I'm really proud. I'm really like, wow, I admire you guys. But let's talk about you were talking. I feel like there's big news coming out. So. Mm-hmm. What's the big news? So what's the new thing since February with the policies that you guys are working on?
Let's see here. We've talked about
flock. We actually covered most of it.
You guys already covered most of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. Well, can we talk a little bit in like what in your mind, like what some of the details of this policy? Like, if somebody asks you what you know what I'm talking about. Can you explain a little bit more, like?
Well, I think the next one might be if we can get legal to a place where we can start requiring people to not wear masks or requiring people to identify themselves. I think that'll help keep us a lot safer because we don't know who's out there right now and how they're identified because they're covering themselves.
They're covering up.
So we haven't passed that yet, but I think that'll be helpful.
And I think the issue with that is like we will also have to do actual real police work, in my opinion.
Yes.
For example, it was just a week or two ago, I had a lot of people texting me about a potential ICE operation in the Lincoln district. It turned out it was a multi-agency undercover operation that was taking down a prolific sex trafficker ring that was operating right here within our region. And in cases like that, you'll need to have like plainclothes and officers out there. So the question is, how do we balance being able to do real, actual law enforcement that does make our streets safer while also adhering to a core concept that we both believe in, which is due process rights to ensure that we just aren't renditioning people randomly on our streets.
Yeah, we can't be terrorizing people.
Is there a way that we could use like the law, like having actual warrants, because a lot of times they just pick up people. They're not even showing you ask for a warrant. From what I hear, you even ask for a warrant and they don't even have that. It's just basically people.
That's absolutely true. Yeah. And if anyone's tracking this, there was a federal court case. I think it was it came in through Kavanaugh, Brett Kavanaugh, Supreme Court Justice, who stayed the decision, which means they are allowing what was happening. And what was happening is they are literally allowed to use the color of your skin, whether you have an accent, and whether you reasonably appear to be someone that may be undocumented, to actually be arrested in, and I believe this is specifically to Los Angeles because they brought that case.
Well, President
and
Trump
it blows my mind that we live in a world where that is allowed right now.
Yeah.
And that's actually lit a fire under both of us. To be more proactive about that here.
Yeah. We also have both been working. There's not much city money. The government in general doesn't have a lot of money right now.
Well, I know there's a little bit of a budget shortfall this year.
But we have been working the last couple years, and now we've secured in budgets going forward $20,000 to go to folks in the detention center to put on their phone cards, so that if they need to make calls, they can make calls, because it is a private detention center. There's no due process, so people aren't allowed one free phone call. They're not even guaranteed a phone call. But if they have money on their account, they can at least make those calls that they can privately pay for. So we're helping pay for that, because once they're here, they're Tacomans too, unfortunately. So we're trying to help that cause where we can.
I know that's a federal private business. Is there any way that the city can work on maybe removing it from the city? Kind of, I don't know. I was honestly shut down, but is there any? I know you guys have been working on it for quite a while, because believe me, I've been in this issue since. Even the
I would love nothing more than that to be the case.
Exactly. It's not worth the jobs that they sold us.
Yeah, exactly.
Quote unquote, whatever decade 2+ ago.
Is that 2002? I believe is when the first deal was struck to start this process of having this in place.
Probably never worth it, but it's definitely not worth it now. So
it's not worth it now. I mean, as a city, you think, hey, you know what?
It was primarily came in from the state, from what I understand, as something the state came in, and then the city was like, sure, we get all these jobs and all this other stuff.
Yeah, you get revenue.
And we are really stuck as a city, again, as an entity that follows the law.
Yeah.
We are limited by the law in what we can do. What we have done so far is made sure that they cannot expand, they cannot get bigger.
Yeah.
Can
they open another facility?
No.
Not in the state of Washington anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, only the current ones can exist. Nothing else can be built.
Okay.
The only thing they can do is contract with tribes.
Yes.
And the tribes so far who've been reached out to have said no.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's true, because I recently heard that Native American people are also being affected because of the skin.
Yep.
So
there's been more than one person who's Native who's been rounded up.
Yeah. I work a lot with the tribe too myself sometimes, and I definitely hear what's going on. So basically, at this point, I'm just opening up the mic. So you guys, I know you already talked about it, but if you can go a little bit, maybe detail or maybe expand on the idea, I would appreciate it for you guys.
Do you want to hit any of these kinds of things?
Came in?
Yeah.
You want me to read it to you?
Yeah.
I feel like I'll cue you up.
Yeah.
What is the city doing to help with housing permits, to build incentives, rental policy, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, thank you, Councilmember Diaz, who knows that I have been very, very involved in housing.
This is your topic.
Like housing has been really important to me. We passed Home in Tacoma, which is getting rid of what's called single-family exclusive zoning. For a long time, we couldn't build more than one home, even if a lot allowed it. Not only do we allow more, we're giving developmental incentives to developers if they build a couple of extra ones.
What are they called? Secondary dwelling?
Yeah, basically you can do 4 units on a 6,000 square foot lot, but you can do 6 if those 2 additional are going to be affordable. That's 60 or 80% of area median income or less. I'm really glad that Councilmember Diaz supported an amendment I put in, which put in the first home ownership incentives to developers, and it ensures that developers only get it if they sell to a person and not a corporation. Because that's one of the problems,
as we know nowadays, these corporations are buying and they're empty.
And there's a Supreme Court case.
Yeah, I know.
There's a Supreme Court case that says people are corporations, so a lot of these home ownership incentives that existed were being taken advantage of by these large corporations. And we made sure that when we put that in, that we had a way to control and make sure the corporations weren't taking advantage of it, that it actually got sold to people. We are working on reducing our permitting timelines. We're piloting a program in 2026, this coming year.
That's good to hear.
To better coordinate with all the different kind of agencies and departments. I'm not going to guarantee it's going to be a lot faster, but we're going to learn a lot. And whatever we do need to do on a policy level, we're going to update to make sure.
And believe me, being a user of the permit, I built a location and it took me 4 years.
And that's too long.
But I had
when
COVID. I had COVID involved too. So.
Yeah.
But still, even though I get the COVID, but 4 years.
The last statement I want to make about housing is I want people to understand that here in the city of Tacoma, we're at least 5,000 to 8,000 housing units behind for a healthy kind of market of housing units. But to put that in perspective, we're 10 years of building. Like we could literally build at the same rate we've been building for 10 years and have 0 people move into our city before we get to a healthy amount of housing for what we've had move in.
And don't forget the tariffs, who made the cost much higher than it would have been if you would have built it 5 years ago.
All of those are barriers that are coming in that we're trying to work around. So that's on housing policy.
And then the last one I'll touch on is the rental policy. Just 2 weeks ago now, we updated a piece of our rental policy to make sure that our affordable housing can stay open, because they were having a hard time staying open with all the restrictions. And so we've made it so that they're going to be able to stay open, keep doing affordable housing, keep making sure that people can stay housed in there. And nonprofit housing that's affordable. And one of the biggest things that we did in that I think is very popular is the policy that we were amending was passed by the voters. Quite frankly, it was kind of a poorly written initiative. So we made a change so that there's a requirement in there that folks who are wanting to raise the rent on their tenant. If they raise it more than 5%, they have to help the tenant move to a new place. And if they're going to move, they can pay up to 5% of that moving cost. But the drafters didn't write it so that it was only once a year. So landlords were taking advantage and they were raising the rent 5% several times a year.
Yep.
And so now they're only going to be able to do it once because we fixed that error in the drafting.
Wow.
So
yeah, those are the great policies. I mean, as we know, homeless is one of our biggest issues in the city, and hopefully that would help. We're talking about helping the homeless too a little bit. How are we doing with the tiny homes? I know that we went to that policy.
Yeah.
What do you guys hear so far? What's the outcome? What are the things?
In my district, in District 4, we had and I'll explain why it's not there. It's actually a good reason why it's not there.
Okay.
But on 35th and Pacific, right across from the 911 center, we had a temporary shelter that both had a very low barrier kind of tent structure, but we also had the tiny homes right next door. They were phenomenally successful in getting people up and out of poverty. What I love, the story I like to say is, so it's down the street from where I live. I could walk there. I remember when they first went in, you had neighbors that were very angry. They're like, why are you putting in a homeless shelter next to a residential area?
They were there
This is
anyways.
terrible. Yeah.
They were in that lot anyways.
Yeah.
And they actually
I
were
lived
there anywhere, right?
I lived there. I used to drive by them every
well,
day.
what's amazing is this year we had to take it down for a very good reason I'm going to get into in a second.
Okay.
Those same neighbors came up to me and asked me, why are you taking it down? It was doing such a great job, 3 years later.
Yeah.
And it's being taken down because we're actually building low-income family housing. Mercy Housing is coming in and building 80 units. More than half of those units are going to be 2 and 3 family-sized units, specifically geared towards families that have at least one individual that needs handicap access.
Wow.
Because there's a big
handicap,
overlap.
I mean, never mind homeless, but handicap is a whole other
It's
need.
hard to find an ADA unit that's affordable.
Yeah.
And the reason we can do that here in the city of Tacoma is we're one of the few municipalities in the entire state that we decided to add a 0.1% sales tax for what's called our Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
We passed it.
It took a few years for us to build enough money, but the Mercy Housing Project, the Patsy Sure Place project in Lincoln District, in my district, a few other projects, they're all funded partially through those funds.
Wow.
Yeah, we're really making them go farther.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, at this time, I see it as progress, progress. Because a lot of cities right now are, especially these cities on the outskirts of Pierce County, are kind of just pushing people into the city, They're busting them in, so... great. So let's talk a little bit more about you guys.
Yeah.
We're kind of getting here closer to the end of 1 hour. And
wow.
We're
a lot further.
It goes fast.
It is. I mean, we got a few more minutes, but I like to ask you guys questions regarding, your career within the board, because we have a lot of people inspire, I'm going to raise my hand, who would say, hey, I like to do this, because I believe that you have to be active in your community at this level to make a change.
Yeah.
I believe in making a change can happen. What do you guys recommend as, knowing about policy, knowing about, labor and industries, knowing about police, to me is like a plethora of knowledge you have to have. But what do you guys now that you're there, I hate to say this.
I recommend you have a friend like Councilmember Diaz. I met her like a year before I even applied.
Yeah, just as a community member.
As a community member, literally at a house party.
Wow.
At a friend's. Actually, it was the party where they were recommitting to one another. They had gotten married 20 years prior, and they were doing and that's where I met Councilmember Diaz. I will say I have been a better council member because she's been able to help me understand.
It's a mentor.
Or just tell me where doors are and how to turn them. That has been really helpul to me.
Did she help your doorbell?
But
not as much as I should have.
She helped me what I needed to do. I wanted to do the doorbelling myself. But that's actually been a large part of my success is to have people support you and just kind of give you like advice on.
I believe in mentors.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that because you guys are in an equal situation, but she's your mentor, probably.
Yeah.
The way you're saying it, and it's good to have that.
I wouldn't be as successful as I have been if I didn't have a good relationship with council. And we don't agree on every policy. I have voted no on some of her policies, and she's voted no on some of my policies. But we've also, I think, the two of us have been co-sponsors on more policies than many other council members because we can work together.
That does bring up a good question. Being on a board, where I've been on a board before, neighborhood council, and believe me, there's disagreements.
Yes.
So how do you guys hash it out? How do you guys trade? What do you like? I give you a cookie for yours.
Absolutely not.
Never.
That was a joke.
Yeah. It really is just knowing and respecting each other, right? It's that base respect of we disagree on how we want to do this, but usually we agree on what we're trying to do.
Exactly.
So it can't get personal. It's just you think this is going to work. I think this is going to work, and we're going to move forward together because we really do work together on a lot of things.
Being an inspired person in that, I would think that was one of not biggest fear for say, but that was going to be. I figured that would be one of my biggest challenges because I'm very outspoken, very going. Oh man, I got to not only win my point of view, I got to win the board.
Yeah. No, the secret is it's easiest to work with people who also are there to do a lot of good and to work really hard. The hardest people to work with are the people who are there to just have a title. So when you got a good one, it's easy to work with them.
Yeah. Well, we're coming close to the end, so maybe we can reiterate for somebody who started watching the podcast a little late.
Yeah.
Basically, we're talking about what the city has set forth to help the situation, what's happening nationally right now with, with the federal enforcement of immigration. And I think it's great. I mean, the fact I feel 10 times better as a citizen of Tacoma. That I know that my own city is not going to be putting my information out towards a situation where it could be harmful. Because if it was a guaranteed thing with due process, I believe it could be a good thing to get people who are affecting our neighborhoods bad. But when it becomes a blanket
everybody,
enforcement, profiling, to me that's so wrong.
Yeah.
That's just crossing.
They're breaking our schools. They're breaking our workplaces. They're literally going to where people work to take people who are working.
Exactly.
That's not criminals.
That's
somebody at their day job. That's somebody dropping their kid off at daycare. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And the kids are citizens usually.
Yeah.
So they're breaking up families.
And this is not just a Hispanic issue either.
Yes, it's all of our communities.
It's all our communities, Russian, Vietnamese. If you're a minority, you got to kind of, watch out before. But so let's kind of reiterate the not going to be working with your information through the city. Basically, the city is making it so not your information that at least goes through the city.
We will not voluntarily comply with any of these federal surveillance and registration type of edicts that are coming down within whatever the city has control of.
Yeah.
Whatever the city has control of.
I would say we've gone beyond being a sanctuary city on paper for immigrants, and we're actually putting it into work in the departments and making sure that staff knows, and staff is being very cognizant about if we haven't come up with something, they're bringing ideas about here's a new thing I'm seeing. How do we make sure this protection is here? Yeah. And we've done the same for the LGBT community. So we are a sanctuary city for the LGBT folks as well, because we're deeply under attack too. So.
And then just so I can make it clear too, it's not like you guys are against what's happening federally. You're just using your city boundaries to what you could do to protect, some of not the citizenship, but
we're making sure we use our city resource on city projects.
Yeah, what we really need city resources should be used for the benefit of our residents.
Yep.
Okay. As we know, jobs are important and small business are very important. And as we know, with these tariffs and things that are affecting them, a lot of small businesses can't keep in business. So is there any support for businesses small affected by the crisis of immigration? Is there anything that the city's doing? Any working with the Department of Revenue? Is there anything that the city's doing that you guys know of that?
I can't think of anything specific, but we do a lot around economic development and supporting small businesses and supporting businesses that are. Let's face it, a lot of our businesses are immigrant run and started, right?
Yeah. Starting a business is one of the easiest things to do as an immigrant because you're already used to hustling.
So some of the things we
you're going to
support,
try to work hard.
Making sure language access is more ubiquitous
for permitting. trying to get your business license, get your paperwork taken care of.
How do you pay your taxes on a quarterly basis?
And some educational, right?
Yeah,
Some educational and helping out. And but is there anything in the agenda that you might be able to, like, let's say, look, if you're affected by, because they are going to be business who are affected when the migrants are taken away.
Absolutely.
Things like that. So, but I guess it's coming close to the end of our. We got 5 minutes or 4 minutes, so let's have some fun.
Yeah.
What do you guys see yourselves doing here in the next 5 years or 4 years, or your next career? What are the things that you aspire to do? What is kind of a goal for yourself, or as a city council? What are some of your things, your inspirations that you have, maybe?
Yeah, do you want to go first?
Right now, what I'm realizing is, like I said earlier, each of us individually, we don't have a lot of power by ourselves. And we do have some things we can do in terms of policy, and we've explained how we can be limited in policy because of, I don't know, pesky things like constitutions and laws.
Yeah, lawyers involved.
Yes, the lawyers.
You touched upon it. I think one of the best things I can do in the position I'm in right now is I have an opportunity to meet a lot of people that are trying to do really good things. And if I can connect them to other people and other organizations or resources within the city to continue doing that, to me, that will be a success for me. Is in it's 4 years that I have. I think some of the best I can do is get those people that already want to do really good things in my community to help the resources and connections they need to continue to do that. Because in a world where we have all this chaos and turbulence, it's people in neighborhoods that are going to solve things, not me by myself.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, and for me, it's things like this, right? It's the hablando con la gente literal, right? Like connecting. I don't know how well you speak your language, but I think I'm the only fully bilingual council member.
You are. I understand my language, but I speak it very poorly.
Not to put you on blast, but I think Joe is in a similar boat with Cambodian.
Yeah, Cambodian.
So
Joe still,
Yeah, I mean, I'm rusty hablándolo, porque soy afgana y no lo practico, pero like I could write you an essay si quieres. But I didn't get my minor in Spanish.
No, y por eso está. Por eso este show es Spanglish.
Yes, exactly.
Ahorita le decimos más en inglés porque es better policy talk. But si estuviéramos hablando así nomás de nosotros, yo lo hago en español, en inglés.
Pero también when I'm doorbelling or cuando voy a eventos, like I'll start talking to people in Spanish. If I get a whiff that they're more comfortable ahí, we'll go there. And it's just easier. My website, my bio's in English and Spanish. I try to make sure I go to all our Latino events. We've got Luz.
I've seen you in a lot of events.
We're at all the places trying to make sure we're connecting la gente. We've been trying to work on a Latino chamber. There's just a lot of ways that we can make sure that the networks are connected and we're stronger together. And it's not just in Latino community. It's all the immigrants. It's all the BIPOC folks. We're all working together. Then we're going to be better off.
Which it kind of brings, I think I told you last time I interviewed with you, I believe that, like I said, the community is what's going to make a difference. And it's not going to be at the policy level. I'm sorry, guys.
No,
it's going to be at those connections. It's going to be at those events with people, talking to everyday needs to the people, but listening, because a lot of times, we're going to do this. And I've been around for a while in politics. And I guess that's what disappoints me about politics. Because I believe it's really good because it does engine the change. But it has to be heard. And I think like you say, going to all the Latino events, you're hearing what the people need. And I mean, I don't know if is it 90 seconds now because I haven't been in a while at the Tuesdays at the chambers. You only get 30 seconds, but hey, at least it's being heard. But
to that end, can I make one request for your listeners? I want people to reach out to me if you live in District 4. Or even if you don't, contact us. Those emails, there's
we answer the emails, we see the calls, the text messages.
We're going to put the city phone number for the government. I was on the website today, the main one for all the
my city phone number is on my website. You can text me on it.
A lot of people don't even know they can.
Exactly.
And what's the worst that happens? I email you back and go, that's not something I can help you with. And usually it's, I can't help you with this, but here's some ideas.
But here's someone that might who can help you.
And if it is something in this county or state level, I can give you those resources. If it's not that, I can at least
And I've been in other states, believe it or not. Washington is a very good state for that kind of information. Where other cities it gets really great, so. But again, we've come to the end of the 1 hour show. I tell you it was going to be fast. I want to say to para el Juan Hour Show ya se acabó. Si quieren, vengan a este programa si hay preguntas, algo que no entendieron. Quiero que sigan regresando otra vez. Ya tengo mucho tiempo que no hago este programa, pero está comenzando en enero. Voy a comenzar a hacerlo un poquito más regular. Vamos a tener gentes. My door is open. My door is open, as you know, as we talked to you when I interviewed you. That if there's anything the city wants to announce or talk to the Hispanic people, hopefully my program can be of a help.
Thank you.
Please,
So
thank you.
this is your guys' program too, okay? Buenas noches y gracias por escuchar una hora de Juan Hour Show otra vez. Y espero que escucharon y aprendieron un poco ahorita. I hope you learned something tonight that, the city's not going to be working with ICE, and the city, it sounds like it's more with the people than the federal things, not against them, but working within their limits of municipal law. And hopefully we can keep working to better Washington, better Tacoma, better our region, better, at our large and at District 4, because we are affected probably most of the districts.
Yep.
So have a good night. Adios.
Adios.
Thank you.